Listen, something massive just happened in Borno State, and I need you to pay very close attention because this story is absolutely incredible. Our Nigerian soldiers just pulled off one of the boldest operations we've seen in recent times. And trust me, by the time I finish telling you what went down, you're going to be amazed at the courage and strength of our military. Before we dive in, if you're getting value from this channel, please hit that like button right now. It really helps us reach more people who need to hear these important stories. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Smash that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you never miss any updates. Now, let me paint you a picture of what happened. On January 18th, our troops from Operation Hadin Kai woke up early in the morning with one mission in mind. They were heading deep into the Timbuktu Triangle. Now, for those of you who don't know, the Timbuktu Triangle is not some tourist destination. This is one of the most dangerous areas in Borno State. It's a place where terrorists have been hiding, planning attacks, and causing serious trouble for innocent people. Our soldiers moved through places called Chiralia, Garin Farouk, and Abima. These are difficult terrains, the kind of places where you can't just drive through easily. We're talking about rough landscape, bush paths, and areas where danger could be hiding around every corner. But our troops didn't back down. They moved forward with determination, clearing one area after another. Here's where it gets really interesting. When our soldiers arrived at several terrorist camps, guess what they found? The camps were empty. But not empty like nobody had ever been there. No, these camps showed clear signs that people had just left. There were items scattered around, evidence of recent activity, like someone had packed up in a hurry and ran away. You know what this tells us? Our military intelligence is so good that these terrorists knew our troops were coming and they fled before they could be caught. That's pressure. That's what happens when you have a professional military that doesn't play games. Now, I need you to imagine our soldiers moving through these areas with fighter jets flying overhead. The air component of Operation Hadin Kai provided non-stop air support. We're talking about surveillance planes watching everything from the sky, giving real-time information to the troops on the ground. This is the kind of coordination that wins wars. When your ground forces and your air support work together like a well-oiled machine, the enemy has nowhere to hide. But here comes the part that really shocked me, and I want you to listen carefully because this is serious. At exactly 12:40 in the afternoon, something happened that we don't see often in Nigeria. Our troops came under attack from a drone. Yes, you heard me right. A drone. Not just any drone, but an armed drone operated by these terrorists. Can you imagine that? These criminals are now using technology that we normally see in big international conflicts. This is the kind of equipment that costs serious money and requires technical knowledge to operate. Think about it for a moment. Where are these terrorists getting drones from? Who is teaching them how to use this technology? These are questions that show us this fight is more complicated than we might think. But you know what impressed me the most? Despite this drone attack, our soldiers didn't panic. They didn't run away. They didn't abandon their mission. They kept pushing forward, clearing those terrorist camps and doing exactly what they came to do. That's the Nigerian spirit right there. That's courage. If you're enjoying this story so far, please take 1 second to hit that like button. It really motivates us to keep bringing you these important updates. And don't forget to drop a comment below telling me what you think about our soldiers' bravery. So while our troops were doing their job, they started recovering items that these terrorists left behind. They found Baofeng radio sets, which the terrorists used to communicate with each other. They found mobile phones, 5 AK-47 magazines, and over 70 rounds of ammunition. They also discovered Boko Haram and ISWAP flags, huge quantities of medical supplies, and get this, 5 diesel-powered grinding and milling machines. Now, why would terrorists need grinding and milling machines? It's simple. They use these machines to process food and sustain their operations in the bush. Every item our military recovers is one less tool these criminals can use to cause trouble. But the action didn't stop there. As evening came and our troops set up their camp for the night, around 7:10 p.m., these terrorists decided to try their luck again. They launched a ground attack, meaning they came with guns and fighters trying to overwhelm our soldiers' position. Big mistake. Our troops were ready. They fought back with such force that the terrorists had no choice but to retreat. Our military maintained complete control of the area. Nobody was pushing our soldiers around that night. Now, let me give you some context about why this operation called Desert Sanity is so important. This is not just one random military operation. This is part of a bigger plan to completely eliminate terrorist presence in Borno State and the entire Northeast. The military has been running multiple phases of Desert Sanity, and each phase has recorded incredible success. Just a few days after this operation, troops in other locations eliminated 8 terrorists in villages called Kayamla and Sojiri. On January 10th, the pressure became so much that 11 terrorist fighters surrendered themselves with their weapons. Can you imagine being a terrorist and deciding that surrendering is better than facing our troops? That tells you how effective these operations are. Earlier in January, our military destroyed several notorious terrorist camps, including the Abu Nazir and Abu Ahmed camps. These were camps that had been causing problems for years, and our troops went in there and dismantled them completely. Buildings destroyed, equipment seized, terrorists scattered. That's what victory looks like. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please do it now. We bring you real stories that matter, stories that affect every Nigerian. Hit that subscribe button and join our community of informed citizens. But I have to be honest with you about something. While we're celebrating these victories, we must also face reality. This fight is not easy, and it comes with sacrifice. The fact that terrorists are now using drones tells us they're getting more sophisticated. They're adapting, which means our military must also continue to adapt and stay ahead of them. On January 24th, terrorists used a vehicle loaded with explosives in a cowardly attack at a place called Gadiri Base. We lost brave soldiers in that attack, including a commanding officer. These are men who woke up that morning ready to serve their country, and they paid the ultimate price. Every victory in this fight comes with sacrifice, and we must never forget the families of these fallen heroes. This is why operations like Desert Sanity are so crucial. The military has made it clear that they are not just trying to push terrorists away temporarily. The goal is to deny them space permanently. That means continuous operations, sustained pressure, aggressive patrols, and smart intelligence work. You keep hitting them, you don't give them time to rest, you don't give them space to regroup, and eventually they have nowhere to go. For the people living in Borno State and the entire Northeast, these operations mean something very real and personal. We're talking about farmers who haven't been able to go to their farms in years because of insecurity. We're talking about traders whose businesses have collapsed because roads are too dangerous to travel. We're talking about children who should be in school but are living in displacement camps. We're talking about families who had to abandon their homes and everything they owned because terrorists took over their communities. When our military goes in and clears these terrorist camps, it's not just about fighting. It's about giving people hope. It's about creating the conditions for normal life to return. It's about making it possible for children to go to school without fear, for farmers to work their land, for families to sleep peacefully at night.